right, it's 5:30. So why don't we make this happen? Woo. All right. So did y'all have fun? Yeah. Wait, that doesn't sound like very much fun to me. I'm sorry. Did you have fun? Yeah. No, I asked you guys if you had fun. Yeah. That's better. That's better. All right, because you know what? I had fun. It was a great time. This was a new role for me. For those of you who don't know, my name is Larry Pesce, and I've been doing this whole computer security podcast thing with my good friend Paul. As long as this whole Mid-Atlantic CCDC thing's been going on. And it's been a real honor to come and do all the live stream and the video hosting events and to talk with a number of you. And unfortunately, Nick and Lizzie couldn't continue to stick around for us, but I know they had a great amount of fun as well. So I wanted to thank all of you for making me have a great experience at all of this. And I brought my 8.5-year-old daughter this year, and she's going to come up and help us out a little later on, and maybe get to announce the winner. But we'll figure out that when it happens. Because I don't have it anywhere else in the program, near and dear to my heart and some of my previous role here at CCDC has been building the electronic badges. Oh, right after Tim. Okay, so for me, I want to give a shout out to Charlie and Colin to say what an awesome job they did on the badges on such short notice and had something that was a total lot of fun. But Charlie will be up here right after Tim. Thanks for adding that to the notes, Lewis. Right? Okay. Yeah. So before we get to story time with Tim, because Tim pulled an awesome practical joke on you guys yesterday, right? Yeah. Yeah, well played. I wanted to share with you folks my favorite April Fool's Day sort of joke from this year that was out on the internet, and that I actually got a good hearty laugh out at. So gentlemen up in the control room, if you would be so kind as to play my video up on the big screen and let us go. So this was my favorite this year.
Authentic, bespoke, raw, artisanally crafted toilet paper. Hand pulped and hand perforated, the way toilet paper used to be. Come with us as we roll back 100 years of innovation, introducing Quilted Northern Rustic Weave. Craft you can feel in every square. It's tissue that's genuinely tree to toilet.
This is how some of you guys felt.
Bathroom experience. New Quilted Northern
Uncomfortable
Rustic
sitting
Weave.
position.
Also available in small batch, cedar loom, and extra virgin birch. Quilted Northern Rustic Weave, designed to be remembered.
This is what we refer to as rough and ready toilet bark. Okay. Yes. Yeah, you can order it right now. It's kind of like ThinkGeek, right? They come up with the big deals for April Fool's Day, and they always end up making one. Okay? Yeah, absolutely. So that was my favorite for this year. It'll be interesting if we do this again same week next year, so that we can have also epic pranks. It didn't happen until the year previous last year, so we missed out. But without further ado, with epic pranks, why don't we go to Mr. Tim Rosenberg to give you a little rundown of some of the technical details and maybe a story or two.
Story time. Hi.
Hi, Tim.
Hi. Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it. I had fun. I always do. But we're done. First off, usual ton of thanks. There's about 1 million volunteers that we cannot say thank you enough to pull this off. For every hour spent here, there's about a gajillion person hours in the back making this all work. Everything from the guys in the booth to guys on the floor, guys and gals everywhere, building stuff, doing things, coming on their own time, on their own dime. So this is huge. We get to have all the fun with the microphones, but realistically, this is not possible without a ton of volunteer help. Piggybacking on that, I want to reiterate some comments from earlier today and some notes and some feedback. And we'll do story time last. So number one, congrats. This was awesome. At one point, every team had every service down. Go big or go home, yeah, or just go home, either
For great
one.
success.
Yeah, that's right. Victory. Yeah. That's what you tell your boss. Well, if the servers are down, I don't have to be here. I'm going home early. Right? You try that at work. Let me know how it works. Come see me next year. So that was kind of awesome. We're sitting back in the room going, what? Well, scoring just got easy. Awesome. As much fun as I had with that April Fool's prank, I can't take credit for it. It was a friend of ours that started having that conversation with me, and we took it and ran. I ran because I thought for certain if I had stayed on the floor, I would not escape with my life. So I came back and hid in the exercise control room. So thank you for being victims for that. So some fun, interesting things. One, please, when you get your surveys, the last field is a free-form text field. I'm not going to tell you what to write because I'm on camera, and that would be unethical of me. However, if I wasn't on camera, I would say something to the effect of, please be honest. Let us know. Take 5 minutes, 3 minutes, I don't care, and provide constructive criticism about what we can do better next year. If it's a better range, if it's a different target set. It doesn't have to be, we need feedback, because ultimately, if you don't give us feedback, I'm going to make stuff up, and you all know that when I make stuff up, it's going to be whatever is easiest for me and that causes you the most amount of pain. Okay, so feedback. What do you want to see next year? Exactly. Yeah, someone made a comment that they wanted to do more system administration. Okay, fine, done. Bam. Hey, next year you'll probably do it again, but we won't use Exchange. We'll use some very easy double-click install SMTP, or I can do SendMail. Yeah, SendMail. All right, so start reading. I'm thinking SendMail on Solaris 8 would be a good, solid. All right. 9? Pine. Oh, Pine. Oh, done. All right. Well, woo, your mom still uses SendMail. Woo!
And Tim, if you're going to do it on Solaris, you have to do it on real Solaris hardware. None of this.
Absolutely. No virtual.
i386 stuff.
Pizza boxes, man. I'm thinking IRIX. Who's got some silicone graphics? We can get that off eBay, man. Did you really? Okay, who's got, all of you old farts in the room, Next computers? Yeah, you all have no clue what we're talking about. Story time. It's the late 1980s, early 1990s. Nirvana had been discovered. It was a dark time for all of us. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple. They said, Apple is terrible, you're horrible, go. And Steve Jobs was removed from Apple. Steve Jobs did his na-na-na-na-na, and he created Next computers, which were awesome because they were sideways they were on the corner of the cube. Yeah, it was a cube on a corner. It was all jet black. Black computers go faster than tan ones. Because that's the only choice. You only had tan computers or what? Silicone was purple, the silicone graphics. Yeah, teal, whatever.
And Tim, didn't they make one out of a magnesium case?
Magnesium, right.
Which were totally awesome to catch on fire.
They were. They tried cesium. That didn't go well. Anyway. Oops. They lost an intern that day. It was sad. I'm sorry, you guys interns? Anyway. So Steve Jobs was like, I'm building new computers, bam, and they were awesome, and they did graphic things and stuff. My university, IUP, actually bought a whole stack of them. Anyway, they were cool. We nerded out. And so you know what happened next? Apple bought Next Computers. Realized maybe we should have fired him and paid him lots of money to buy Next Computers, bring Steve Jobs back. He took some of that money, invested in a small startup you may have heard of called Pixar. And by the time Disney had purchased Pixar in a stock exchange, Steve Jobs was actually the single largest shareholder of Disney stock at 4%. He owned 4% of Disney, which was kind of awesome. So there's your story time. Speaking of targets, next computers. We've been talking in the back about next year's theme. Stay tuned. But for those of you that would like to take a break from competing and kind of see how this is done on the back end, the single biggest resource time for me is building the targets that you all get to play with. We are opening the floor, details to follow, but if your team, if your university would like to take a year off because we cannot in good conscience have you help build the infrastructure and then compete on it, that might be a slight unfair advantage. It's an option. Have your coach get in touch with Lewis, and we can talk. You know, we need targets built. We have a theme that we're working on, and you get to see part of how all of this goes together. Definitely an option. All right? So that's really, yes, ma'am. I can't have anybody on the university, I can't have a university split and have some people help build and some people compete. It's all or nothing. You're either all going to compete or you're all going to build. Sorry. It's a good idea, though. Wow. One last story and I'm done. I'm out of here. So this time last year, I wasn't sure if I would be back. Last year was a very interesting time. That's a good word. What?
You can check out, but you can never leave, Tim.
That's right. Never. No, I will never leave.
That's why I'm still here.
Y'all are stuck with me. And Larry, and Charlie, and Lewis. We're never going to go. So anyway, so you never know where your road will take you. When we landed here 6 years ago, I met this guy right here, Charlie. I was like, who's this guy? APL, dude, whatever. And now I work here, thanks to Charlie. So be kind as you go down this path. As you leave an auditorium on an April Fool's joke, don't walk up the stairs complaining about how horrible this event is and how terrible the infrastructure is when the guy who built it is 2 steps behind you. Be creative with your complaining. It's okay to complain, just be situationally aware as to where you are complaining. But seriously, enjoy what you all do. Keep doing what you do. Be kind to those around you because you never know when the person to your left or right is either going to need a job or you're going to need a job. So you are part of a legacy that has survived 3 careers for me. 1999 to 2010 with White Wolf, 2010 to 2015 with Eyesight Partners, and now 2015 or 2016 to whenever with Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab. It's good times. I'm all done. It's been a pleasure. Catch you all next year.
Tim, have a safe trip home. Oh, yeah. So, oh wait, you know what? One of my favorite things here is gone. My second favorite thing. Yeah, no, that's okay, Charlie. We don't need to spend a lot of time on this, really. No, but they have a laser pointer, a green laser pointer, and it is literally the size of a lightsaber. It's massive. So Charlie, tell us about some badges.
I will, but first, put him on the spot. That man I'm pointing at right now is Colin Taylor.
Yeah,
Can you
Colin.
stand up for 1 second, please? I want to say one thing before we give him a hand of applause. Three weeks ago, your badges plus 34 others were basically 3 buckets of parts. So I can count 4 separate nights until 2 in the morning, making this all exist. Let's give this man another round of applause. Another thing that Colin did is make all of this stuff work. And a lot of people already got this, but if you hadn't, go on Twitter, look at the comments associated, with hashtag MACCDC, and you can find a link to Colin's GitHub repo. You'll be able to get all the firmware for the badges, instructions on how you can reflash them over the air, plus all the schematics so that you could build another one if you so wish. Really cool stuff, and just incredible to have. There's one other thing I want to take a moment for. Unfortunately, Nick and Lizzie couldn't be here today at this part, but you guys talked to them a lot, you did a lot of interviews, they played reporter. There's something I at least want to go on record giving credit to Nick for. Lizzie is amazing too. Lizzie is one of the best pen testers I've ever worked with. She and I were neck deep in an assessment of the entire Army's tactical network, something called WinT. There was some political stuff going on that they needed a full cyber assessment done in 60 days in order to get a $1 billion funding decision handled. Lizzie worked round the clock with me and got that done. She's an incredible talent. She's a great role model to look towards, and I know she'd be happy to answer any questions. So if you guys want to reach back to us, go up through Lewis, we'll get in touch. There's a lot you could learn from her. Nick, I want to give credit to because each of you guys used the OpenStack environment for the quals. The OpenStack environment was a pile of unused, ready-to-be discarded servers on October 1st, 2015. Nicholas Sammis spent many tireless nights building the entire OpenStack infrastructure so that it could support that qualification round. So everything that made that work, we have him to thank for that. So I wanted to at least get the acknowledgement out there for them. Please give them a round of applause. We'll play the tape back. Besides that, the real thing is to get towards the scores today, so I'm not going to talk for much longer, but just want to say this is my 6th year doing this. I'm always terribly impressed at everybody that comes into support, and I'm also impressed with seeing all of you. Each year, the competition gets more fierce, more people show up. We all do this because we believe in the cause. There's a critical need, and the fact that you even came down here today already tells me that you're in the right place and that you're doing the right thing. So I am humbled and honored to be able to help you guys, and thank you for competing. That's about all I got.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Colin, for awesome work on the badges. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with next year, or more specifically, Colin, right? And whoever you else have worked with you, because you're going to want folks. Okay. All right, so let's move this along, because I know you guys want to see all sorts of other stuff. Let's move to an update from the white team with Commander Rivers. Commander Rivers, can you come on down? Give us a few words. Please and thank you, sir. Yeah, no. You need exercise, right? We all need exercise. See, while you're doing this, I'm going to go run up to the back and come back down again. Thanks, sir.
Alrighty, thank you. So, thank you, everyone. Once again, this is my 3rd year here. I really enjoyed myself. I hope I asked a lot of you if the white team was providing value to you guys, and you gave me a really positive answer, an enthusiastic answer, and I really appreciate that because the feedback I got from the team was they loved working with you, okay? There were some things I wanted to pass on to you, no criticisms, just a couple of observations, just a few things I just want to put out there, because this probably is going to be my last year here. I got to rotate out, and I really enjoyed working in this environment. It's been unlike anything I've ever done before, even though I've been in the information security realm for quite some time. The first thing I want to talk about is, you know when you're driving in a car and you're got to go somewhere to get something that's catch up with them, and then you get into this little race, you know, and it's like, well, I'm gonna beat you because I gotta win. And then all of a sudden you're speeding, and the cop that pulls you over doesn't see the other guy, they see you, and you're getting a ticket. And all of a sudden you're like, I'm gonna be late to get my eggs, and I got a ticket. See what just happened there? Your focus got thrown off. You got obsessed with something, but didn't really think about the big picture, right? And you got obsessed with a goal that really wasn't tangible. Win what? You're racing with somebody down the street, down the freeway. You don't even know this person. What are you going to win? Right? Losing track of that goal. I'm not saying that you guys did it, but there was a few things out there that you probably just as something you want to take with you. Everything is not a competition, or everything is not relevant to the competition. Sometimes you have to make trade-offs. Sometimes you have to really focus on what is my goal. And sometimes you got to say, hey, I got to let this go because this is just going to distract me. Just something to consider. Second thing, in the movie Apocalypse Now, my favorite scene, no, it's not with the helicopters. I love that scene too. But my favorite scene is when this guy is just shooting into the darkness. He's just shooting, he's swearing, he's shooting, and I believe Charlie Sheen comes up with him and says, son, who's your commanding officer? And he turns around and goes, ain't you? See what happened there? Lack of leadership, no direction. Got a lot of skills, knows how to shoot a gun, but just blaring off into the darkness. Once again, no focus, no goals, no team, no leadership. That will kill you. I assure you of that, okay? And I know it's like, okay, the military guy is going to talk about the leadership and everything like that, but hey, I'm a reservist. I work in the corporate world. I see this every day. And every time you get a military person up here, they start talking about Sun Tzu and the art of war. They throw out some Clausewitz and everything like that. One of my favorite military philosophers is Stewie Griffin. I'll tell you why. There is a short, and you can see it on YouTube, less than a minute, short thing where Stewie is holding a baseball, and he's sitting next to this kid, and the kid has a souvenir bat. He says, hey, you want to trade this baseball for your souvenir bat? And the kid says, sure, and the kid gives him his bat, and Stewie hits him over the head with the bat and keeps the bat and the baseball and says, what did you learn? Okay? There's a lot of military philosophy in there, but there's a lot of philosophy in there in that. Just that snippet that can apply to a lot of things, and it applies here too, right? You guys got hit today. And it's not a matter of whether, it is a matter of whether you win or lose. I'm not going to sit up here and say, it's not a matter of whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. But consider this. If you lose, yeah, you're going to feel bad. You're going to walk away. You're going to say, hey, I could have did better. You feel like crap and everything like that. But you have an opportunity. You have a great opportunity to say, okay, what could I have done better, and how can I learn from this? Okay, there's a risk to thinking that you're not good enough because you didn't win, all right? But what did you learn, right? You got something out of this, whether you walk out of here with a trophy or not. There's also a risk for the winners. Some of you are going to win today, and you're going to think, I am the man or the woman, right? And then you're going to go out here with kind of there's a risk of overinflated self-confidence saying, hey, I got it. I got it. And then something will hit you in the back of the head to remind you that you don't have it, because there are always people behind you who are leveling up to take that smile off your face. So be cognizant of that. What did you learn, whether you won or whether you lost? Okay? Last thing, and I promise I'm going to stop pontificating. There are a lot of security certifications out there. I have 2 of them. I have CISSP and CISA, and there's CEH and all this other kind of stuff. I'm going to tell you about a certification that you need to get. It's called VUCA. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. That's what happened today, whether it was infrastructure problems or whether it was part of the injects or part of the scenario. That's going to happen as you guys go forward and try to get a career in cybersecurity or whatever you do in life. That's the certification that's going to count. Because I'll tell you, sometimes your training, your frame of reference, everything that you know is not going to do you any good. Sometimes your frame of reference can help you. Hey, it worked this time. This situation's on me. I'll try it now. Instead of thinking out of the box, instead of thinking, maybe I need to do something different. Right? VUCA. I'm asking you guys to remember that because you guys, when I start, getting, well, I can't get gray, I don't have any hair, but when I start walking a little slower and I can't do this stuff anymore, I need somebody to protect my bank accounts, I need somebody to protect my identity, I need somebody to protect this nation. And I'm counting on you guys. And I'm asking you to really look at yourselves, learn from these experiences, right? And be ready for stuff that you're not going to get out of a textbook, you're not going to get out of somebody talking in front of you, you're not going to get maybe out of your experience. It's going to be spur of the moment, doing the right thing, right? That's all I got. Thank you very much.
Turn this back on. Helps if I actually turn it back on. Thank you very much, sir. So, VUCA. Be careful where you look that up. Urban Dictionary might not be the appropriate place. Okay? Or it might, depending. All right, let's move on to Orange Team with Cody McMahon and assorted friends. Cody. There you are. And anybody else want to come down and talk about your experiences? We got a whole host of microphones, and you guys can grab seats if you'd like. And
how's it going, everyone? So I was Steve, manager of Jeremiah, Jonathan, Jimmy, and Sarah. And we primarily dealt with teams 1 through 4, and then the other guys on the panel dealt with teams 5 through 8. So this is the first year MA CCDC has had the Orange Team. So it was a lot of fun for us because we didn't have too much direction. So we really got to do whatever we wanted. But obviously, there were services as a business that we really cared about. So anything dealing with the financial side of things. So JessX and Cyclos. So that's a lot of what we pressured you guys on. And BBB as well. We wanted to have a lot of meetings, very important meetings. So yeah, we can go down this way so everyone can introduce themselves.
So my name is Jeff Andalora with the Hershey Company. You guys were very trusting of us even when our intentions weren't the best. Sometimes we would pretend to be the CEO, and some teams were very okay with that. You guys would have some password resets that, with no information given, we could drain a bank account and have the real user call in. But most of the things we did were actually legitimate business user traffic, and we enjoyed having you guys be really professional and doing a great job of dealing with us.
All right, I'm Kyle Smith. I was here with Spayawar. I guess my one comment would be, when you're troubleshooting with someone, we were the lowest common denominator here. So never take anything we have for granted. I know my counterpart called in and he was on the wrong URL, and you guys immediately were like, "Oh, our server has got an issue," and it was just the wrong URL. So just kind of hit the wickets and kind of go down from simplest thing all the way down.
Yeah, we had a similar thing with our teams. So a lot of the teams when we first started were giving us your internal IPs for the services, and obviously we weren't going to be able to hit those because those are the same for every team, so that didn't really make a lot of sense. And then some of the teams, one team really early on told us, as we're just random employees at the company, that there was a breach, and you probably don't want to do that. As any IT group or security group, you definitely don't want to tell just random employees at the company that you're with that there is a security breach for a variety of reasons. Obviously, they're concerned with their personal information that the company has stored, but also, obviously the company doesn't want word to get out right away if there's been a breach without having some sort of proper disclosure of what's going on, and telling a random employee really kind of lets that out the bag. So that was the big thing that I noticed. All of the teams, for the most part, had really good customer service. Everyone was willing to walk through the steps, even if you guys didn't necessarily understand exactly what our problems were. The other big thing for us was getting a JessX client. That took a lot of teams a good deal of time, and so I'm going to pass it on to Jeremiah to talk a bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm Jeremiah Hanley. I'm with the Hershey Company, and for whoever ordered a pizza, thank you. I appreciate that you offered to pay since I was having such a bad day. But then again, another team told me we were at war. So I definitely wasn't having the best day. So yeah, with the JustX client, you guys could have gotten that to us in a lot of ways. You had a white team resource that you were told at the beginning of the competition could interact with anybody outside. So if you just wanted to put that on a USB flash drive, they could have just brought that over to us. There was also the opportunity to set up FTP servers. You could have just gotten your Exchange working, which I know wasn't simple, but you could have just emailed it to us. But yeah, otherwise, just to echo what's kind of been said is I used to work help desk. I did an internship as help desk, and whenever a user calls in and says that something's critical, it's not always critical. Everybody thinks that everything's critical. But listen to your management. The injects are what's getting you points. The services are what's getting you points. The CEO, his direction is what's getting you points. Us telling you that we want a pizza and that we want you to join us in a BBB meeting is not the most important thing that you're going to be doing whenever you're getting attacked and you're trying to keep services up. So, yeah, that's my feedback.
All right, I'm Josh Van Hahn. I'm also with the Hershey Company. I'd say these guys did a great job really explaining, a lot of things that we saw. Again, I'll reiterate, just, keep it simple. We played stupid users, so, check from the ground up. Don't expect the most complicated thing to be broken. It might be, but users are pretty stupid. Past that, I just want to say thanks for a great time. Sorry for feeding the CEO so much information, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you for the penguin picture. This was my profile picture for most of the teams on Cyclos. Team 1 went through the effort of printing it out for me once their service went down because I asked them to make sure that they hadn't lost it to the hackers that were breaking into the system. I figured that the money analysis would take a good deal of time, but I was very concerned about my penguins. So that was very fun. But yeah, so thank you guys for the opportunity. I hope you guys learned something.
Thanks, guys. I think Orange Team was one of the biggest things from my perspective, doing some of the announcement work was to see this year that was so completely different than any other year than we've done some of the stuff. And I think the Orange Team is going to do some pretty significant involvement as things go on and be a bigger part in coming years. All right, so next up, two gentlemen who fight crime in a rubber suit because Scott bailed, huh? Yeah, Scott's the big scary guy, bald guy. Yeah, he was the guy on my first Mid-Atlantic CCDC that we handed him a clue by 4. It is literally a 2x4 shaped like a baseball bat and made him go stand outside Blue Cell Room. Yeah. So Brian, tell us a little bit about some of the incident response and how you think it went.
Yeah, so very happy to be back again this year. I think I started volunteering about 7 or 8 years ago with MA CCDT. And great fun here at this facility. There was about 5 of us on the LE IR team this year. Started out yesterday. We lost a few today, but Troopers Bedell, Troopers Jenkins were here yesterday. We're Maryland State Police, work at the forensics lab there. Scott, who has been a red teamer here for many years and is kind of moving over to the IR white team side, so he joined us there. Jared Myers, who's a former officer in Louisiana, him and I worked together at forensics lab for the DOD. Recently for RSA. So we've had, I think between the 5 of us, about 3 decades of experience just doing solely this. We tried to pass that on to you guys as we got your feedback and as you got your forms. Many were very horribly written. That's kind of acceptable in some ways, to the point where we even have one late today that just basically said, we're currently under attack, this IP address over this port. That was it. There was nothing else to fall back on. So obviously we just threw that away. We had 45 incident response forms filled out over these 2 days. And the requirement was 3 per team. Actually, really wasn't a requirement. You could just try not to do that. Many of you actually surpassed that. Towson, Radford, Capital, just you guys were in competition for how many of those you can pump out. Which was a great experiment because we told you those were graded this year. They weren't. Hey, good on you guys.
April Fools.
It was great because once we told you, hey, we're grading you, you guys were like, oh, you actually tried. You worked at it. I mean, you guys were just like phoning it in at first. So appreciate that you guys actually sat down and actually worked on those. We also saw some great results in those. And it's over the last number of years, you kind of see it ebbs and flows, the skills each team brings in and the ability to work with the malware and work with the connections being made. We definitely saw at least 2 teams doing just reverse engineering on the fly with malware they're seeing. Not just to say something bad happened, but here's something bad happened, here's how it works, here's how it's supposed to work, and here's how it would have worked if we hadn't stopped it in the first place. And because they were able to stop it, well, it wasn't actually an incident in that case, but they had a chance to actually show their muscle, show their strengths by using those forms. So that's great. That's exactly what we're looking for, is not only is bad stuff happening, but you detected it, you're able to stop it, and you're able to understand it. There's more to just saying bad stuff happens, and we need to stop it. It's bad stuff's happening, it's coming from here, we think it's going to here, and here's the reason why it's happening. And many of you are getting on that trail. You're almost there, and that's kind of what we came back and had a lot of back and forth with you, is that you were kind of alluding to you knew what was going to happen, but you didn't say it, or you had no way of proving it. So that's kind of like trying to draw that out of you. Is come on, where are you going with this? What is the bad guy really after in this case? And what's the value of it? Oh, they stole a database. No loss. That database actually had a loss. That's value in there that you are kind of overlooking in many of these things. There is information being stolen left and right, and you're focusing on downtime and not focusing on the actual core business value of what you're protecting. So that's some of the aspects we're really trying to bring together in that. But overall, some really good results from you guys this year. The one thing I kind of really focus on is that you really take focus on what is bad versus what is kind of a nuisance. A lot of nuisance calls were being made. So my professional world, I work in incident response, and I have retainer clients. So when they see something bad, they don't have an IR team on site, they call in us. So they have to show us, here's what we see going on right now. We need to call a third party in to actually do the forensics and do the IR for us. And I can tell you 2 cases in the last month where they just misread the data. And they flew us in cross country, paid tens of thousands of dollars for us to tell you first day, you misread this data. This is not malicious. But hey, while we're here, let's go out to dinner. We're here for the next few days. We're, flights are booked, we can't change those. So that's kind of the big things we're seeing now, is that the people who are not able to understand where the data is coming from and why it's there in the first place can cause substantial damage financially to their company because they don't understand these attacks. And I think that's kind of the big takeaway for your teams, is not just badness, but targeted badness. Why was it there? How were you able to catch it? And what fun could you do with it? And I love that one team actually took this to, kind of thought these things out. We had malware. Okay, malware. We don't know what it is. All right, well, how can you analyze it? Just run strings on it. What text is contained inside of it? And one team's like, it was obfuscated on disk, so we couldn't do anything with it. Same team, or same sample, another team say, hey, yeah, we had the same issue. We saw it in memory, we just dumped the memory out from task list. Task manager dropped it out and we saw everything. Here's exactly what the malware was, here's what it's beaconing to, here's the commands that were sitting across the channel, here's everything. It's like, that's kind of the mindset we want you to be moving towards, is data that we need doesn't exist on that hard drive. And this is kind of where the future of incident response and forensic systems are moving the last 5 years, is that your hard drive is dead. No one really cares anymore. It's what's in memory. Because that's where your attackers are actually living during the attack. You won't see artifacts on the hard drive. You won't see artifacts in many locations, but you'll see them actually sending commands back and forth in memory. That should be a primary focal point. which also means don't just start tampering and rebooting and changing things around, because now you're losing that evidence, which you guys were stomping all over left and right, which is awesome. But again, we appreciate helping you guys out, and we had a lot of fun, and hopefully you guys had a lot of fun too. You guys were cranking those IR reports out and helping us out with those. And what we are like to give back to you this year is we are giving you back the forms. When you leave here today with your bags, you'll have all the IR forms you submitted back, most of them with some notes on what you could have done differently, and sort of a grading system we set up on basically, was it complete? Was it accurate? Was it readable? Did you actually use real sentences? Did you have evidence? And what was the criticality or the business impact of these attacks? And that was a core thing, because everyone had these great little write-ups of, we have brute force attacks and we were able to stop it and this and so forth, but it had no impact on your business whatsoever, but you still wrote it up. So those are things to keep in mind. So you will actually have those to take back with you, hopefully as learning lessons as you move forward in the next year, and provide a little bit better quality output. But great effort overall, and thank you.
So Brian, before you go, of all of the incident response forms that were filed, were there any successful arrests this year?
There were no successful arrests, but there almost could have been.
Oh, wow.
We did have 2 teams who actually recognized that one of the red team hackers was at the playing field, had a laptop, was messing with the badges. One team actually wrote down very detailed physical descriptions of what the person was wearing, what, their characteristics. They had, huge earring, gauge bullet hole earrings in their ears, brown hair, and a beard. So obviously that was not very detailed at all. However, that one team actually mixed up 2 different people and were describing and mixing together, and it's like that person was not wearing that, and it's like, oh, we almost had them. But then the point was, hey, at the same time, you see a crime, you have to prove it. For us to make an arrest, you have to say that person right there was doing this, and we can prove it. We have a picture. It's like, okay, you can't take pictures on the floor, but you can walk up, have someone else take a picture. Call us. Last year, we got arrested just because team reported it. Said, hey, we think that's bad. Can you just go up there and look? Oh, yeah. Walk up there. Hey, you guys doing anything bad? Yeah, we're doing bad. Can I just see what you're doing? Yeah, we're breaking into this traffic light system. Can I take a picture? Sure. Okay, evidence, you're arrested. And that's basically how it worked out. You have that ability. But unfortunately this year, no, there wasn't the capability of doing that.
Funny. So, and I think the badge one was a great thing that they saw some folks doing some badge stuff, but you missed one. No, you didn't miss one. You guys missed one. Blue teams missed one. So there was a very unsuspecting badge hacker. Karen, can you stand up for a minute? So there was an 8-year-old girl walking around the pit area with a stuffed rabbit with a badge that was successfully hacking all of your badges. She did it. Yeah. So she got her honorary red team shirt this year, because apparently she's going to be on Red Cell next year. So watch out. All right, we'll see you back in a minute for some other stuff. So this is my daughter Corinne, and she's at 8.5, and she totally owned your badges with some prompting from Red Cell after being provided the equipment to do so.
So what more than an IP address, a malware file, and port, computer name, would we need to do what? We need to somehow detail that back to an actual person. It's hands-on keyboard is what we need. So who is sitting behind the keyboard and actually typing those commands in? Now some of that, what we were able to do in prior years was they had a very unique host name or a very unique name. We saw Jericho being used in one of the attacks that someone dumped from memory, which I never had a chance to go back to Red Team and ask them who that was. But we saw that in play. And so typically what we do is go back and say, okay, Red Team, who is this? And they're like, nah, we're not telling you. I was like, all right, well, do you, we'll pull one red team guy out and it's like, hey, do you know who it is? Like, yeah, I know who it is. What can I give you to roll over on them? And that's usually how we had to play that in the past, is usually, snitching. And it's always snitching. Everyone snitches. That's, no matter what you see on TV, they all snitch.
Snitches get stitches.
So, yeah, and that's kind of the big issue. Is we have to follow by the rules of the law. And the rules of law said we can't just go arrest someone because we think they're typing stuff in because it's host name, because you could just walk up, steal his computer, and type in those commands. So for us to actually make those arrests in the past, we've actually had to prove that was a person. Very difficult to do in the confines of this challenge, which is why we require snitches. And they always come through. Not this year, but they will.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Brian. All right. We've still got a little bit more to get through here, but we'd love to have all of the blue team captains to come on down and give us a few minutes of their time. So if you come on down, grab a seat. We're going to harass you for one last time. I promise I'll be gentle. All right, so we're going to start at one end, and I'm going to have you introduce yourself, and then I'm going to ask you a question. So, sir, you are and from?
I am Alejandro, and I'm from Radford University.
So, Alejandro, not your first year, is it?
Yes.
Oh, it is your first year.
It
Well,
is.
Radford is not your first.
No, it's
first
not
time.
Radford's first time here. No.
So tell me a little bit, how much did you guys draw upon previous years' experience from other teams to help make this better?
Well, we relied. We had a little bit of information. I think this year last year we weren't able to make it, so we didn't have last year's results. Sure. But we relied on a couple of alumni to give us some information and a little bit of help.
Excellent. Yeah, it showed, given from the way we saw appearance in the pit and through some of the interviews with the CEO, that there was some definite preparation that had happened. And from looking back at history, that some of those things happened. So excellent things to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you think overall? Did you have fun?
Oh, it was a great time. Loved
Excellent.
it.
Excellent.
Had a great time.
Good. You want to come back next year?
I wish I could, but I'm graduating.
Good. Oh, so sad. Well, I'm glad you got to do it this year.
It was a great time. Thank you so much for having us.
So next up, who are you and where you're from?
I'm Lauren. I'm from Towson University.
Excellent. So what did you think of your interview with Costas on day 2?
On day 2, day 2 went great. Day 1, not so much.
So much. Okay. It's typical. It's usually the opposite. That day 1 goes swimmingly, and then day 2 he crawls all over you and gives you some interesting stuff. So from what we saw, because we got to watch all the interviews and commentate during and after the interviews, what did you think some of your successes, went into the successes for why you thought the second half went well?
I think definitely it just comes down to preparation. So we had an hour-and-a-half team meeting last night, and we went over box by box. Okay, at a technical level, what's wrong? At a higher level, what does that mean? And then how can we translate that to the CEO and give him the information he needs? So, we all sat around in the boardroom of our hotel for an hour and a half, going line by line of, that's too technical, how do we break it down for the CEO in terms of what his company needs and what information he needs?
Beautiful. Beautiful. So much as part of my job as a pen tester comes down to that. And being able to speak to people on their level and throwing away all the technical stuff and talking to them as a human being and something that they can understand and really bring that back to the business. So well played. Well played. All right, moving right along. Who are you and where are you from?
I'm Jonathan, and I'm from Capital.
Jonathan from Capital. All right, so Jonathan, what was the hardest thing as being team captain that you felt that you had to deal with?
Well, this is like almost our entire team's first year competing.
Excellent.
And so we all came in with a bit of an experience, but so that an experience with the competition itself, as well as we were formed very shortly before qualifiers, so we didn't really have a lot of time to practice. As well as trying to corral those crazy guys right there. But yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So anything you think you might do different for next year?
Next year, I think having a lot more time to prepare will help us a lot, as well as we were able to get some information onto USBs from the last 30 minutes of competition when red teams really started going hard. And so we're definitely going to look over that and see what we can learn from those.
Excellent, excellent. All right, moving on down the line. Who are you and where are you from?
My name is Daniel Panny, and I'm from Bloomsburg University.
Excellent. So, Daniel, now, we had Bloomsburg here another year, did we not? Okay. How long ago was that, Lewis? Do we remember? A couple years ago. So, this was kind of like a new experience for you guys, wasn't it?
So I actually wasn't aware that Bloomsburg was here before.
I rest my case.
That's news to me.
I rest my case. But you guys came to us while we were doing some of the video hosting events, and you had that look of victory. And the look of victory was because you had been watching or having some folks watch the live stream and listening to all the advice that we were giving on the live stream. How the heck did you make that happen?
So last night we found out that 30 minutes of the presentation of the entire event was put on YouTube, and we found that just by searching National CyberWatch on YouTube. And then this morning again we looked, and we found that the entire conference, or not conference, the entire competition, 7 hours of video was found on the exact same channel. So we watched a couple of the interviews of the CEO, and we found you guys actually mocking me personally for my lack of writing utensils and anything to present to the CEO. So I took that to heart. Actually, before I even saw the video, I had a report planned, ready for the CEO tomorrow as soon as possible. Thank goodness I printed it out before we left the hotel because they called us immediately.
So, I'm sorry, and we kid because we love, right? And it worked, right?
Yes, it did.
Excellent, excellent. So, moving on down the line, who's next and where are you from?
I'm Chance Grillot, and I'm from West Virginia University.
Excellent. So, how do you think you did?
Fantastic.
Confidence. I mean, absolutely confidence. I mean, speaking of going into some of these interviews with CEOs, it was interesting to see some of you folks go into those, because some of you were nervous, it was obvious, and some of you went in there, I'm going to own the place. So do you think you went in and owned the place?
I think I did fairly better than I thought I would, that's for sure.
Excellent, excellent. So again, what did you think of the interviews with the CEO? How do you think they went?
They were pretty intimidating, but I would like to think that I kept my composure during them. Luckily I had a great coach to help me practice, as this is my first time not only being team captain but competing. But no matter how much you practice, it doesn't really compare to the real thing.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. As Tim said on day one, before you guys even had hands on keyboards, no plan survives first contact with the enemy, and you will plan and plan and plan and plan, and you get here and you throw it all out the window. But you rely on some of the things that you learned during that planning to make it better.
Yeah.
Right. Excellent. So all right, well, moving on down.
How's it going? Dustin from Liberty University.
See, he doesn't even need to be prompted. This is why he gets the coin, right? Right, right. So this is your first, not your first year.
That's actually my third year competing.
Okay, and first year as team captain?
Second year as team captain, actually.
Second year, okay, excellent, excellent. Brain gets foggy. I'm getting older. I hit 40, and it's starting to all go away now. So, as team captain, what was the most difficult thing that you had to deal with this year, as potentially compared to last year?
So last year, we actually kind of like shot ourselves in the foot pretty early. We locked ourselves out of the firewall, which made it administrating everything pretty easy. Nothing worked. So no pressure, right? This year, just managing the different services and trying to keep my team in a very fluid cycle between everything that was working and keeping services up and injects getting done as best as we could.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so moving on down.
I'm Max. I'm the captain for the University of Maryland.
Excellent. So Max, did you have fun?
Yeah, always.
You always have fun? Man, I got to hang out with this guy some more because he always has fun. How's your brain? Your brain hurt?
A little bit.
Ready to go home and take a nap? Or
it's a long 2 days.
It is a long 2 days. What time did you go to bed last night?
Sorry?
What time did you go to bed last night?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I didn't sleep. None of us did.
Okay. So, see, that's typically how it goes. The boss doesn't get sleep, right? So what was the biggest challenge that you had as a leader of your team? I mean, obviously there's lots of moving parts. What was the most difficult for you personally to overcome to help manage the team and make things work?
So I guess the biggest challenge would definitely be, all the, different moving parts, like you said. CCDC is always evolving. We had things this year that we didn't have last year, like, the orange team. As far as, the best help, definitely the experience. This is our second year. Half of us are returning, so that's definitely a big help.
Excellent. Excellent. Sir?
My name's Christian. I'm from UMBC.
Thank you, Christian.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good color on you.
What's that?
That's a good color on you. I don't normally say that to another man, but that's a good color on you. Right. All right.
That's completely okay.
Excellent. See, now he's turning red, and I've got him totally off guard. So, speaking of being off guard, how'd you think you did with the CEO? Tell me about the 2 sessions.
Well, I think the first one, it's like anything. You do your first time, you're not, you're going in it completely not ever doing it. So it was an experience, that's for sure. The second time, I feel like I was a little more comfortable, a little better. I think I handled it pretty well. There were some things where, he starts asking questions and you almost kind of back yourself into a corner by accident. And
he gives you just enough rope to hang yourself.
Yes, exactly. And I trying to talk while at the same time in your head, like, get yourself out of that corner. That was, I feel like, kind of the hardest thing for me was thinking while talking at the same time, and not trying to make yourself look, like an idiot.
That is a very uncomfortable place to be.
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome to your day job. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I want to say thank you to all of you. You guys did a great job, and being in that leadership role is absolutely something very difficult. It's going to take you guys a long way, and in fact, being as part of these team and supporting these folks is also going to help you guys learn a whole ton as well. So thank you, and hope to see you guys and lady again next year, and if not, other years. Great. So thank you. All right, if you guys want to return to your seats, because we are going to bring down our favorite team of all, right? John Christmas and friends from the red team. And he's bringing a laptop, so this is not going to be good. Oh, you're going to use the podium? Yep. Gentlemen, can we do the podium mics, please? And thank you.
How you guys feeling? Nervous. Why are you nervous? The competition's over. You still have a laptop. That's true.
So, my name's John. My handle is Sapling, so if you look me up online, I'm sure you'll find me. But this is Jerry, aka MS Tank. Thank you for all, and we're done. So we're going to go through a few things. I want to start with the things that we weren't very happy about this year on our end. So in previous years, we used a different score bot, and we were able to cause you to negatively your scores go down negatively by phoning home, and we couldn't do that, so we could never see your scores go down, and that kind of made us very sad. We were also very sad when your hosts were down because they were down and we couldn't play with them. And we also had quite a few issues with people not conversing with us. So, if we tried to talk to you, we want to talk. We just want to be your friends. So just talk to us. Before I go on, there was a few changes this year. Obviously, normally, Rob Fuller Mubix runs the event for us as the captain. He was unable to make it this year, so he asked me to step up and take the position. And the second change that happened this year is normally we just kind of group up Windows and Linux and web apps, and those groups go at it and they hit everyone equally. The change this year was individual teams. So Jerry was actually my counterpart on one of the teams, and we split it up, basically 2 or 3 people per team, and just continued to hammer it out with you guys. So that was a change this year. We'll see if it continues next year, but we'll figure that out later. So we want to go through what you should be doing. You guys really need to take your time and test your changes. When you're making a change, every time you do that, you need to test it, because you end up backing yourself into a hole, right? And just keep doing it and doing it, and before you know it, you've made some bad changes, and your system's down. You've got nothing. So take your time. I promise, it's okay, right? We're here to help you. Keep everything online, really, and definitely check your logs. You have something to say, Jerry?
No, definitely check your logs. In the beginning of the competition, we had some heartache. You guys got to keep your services up. Because in the real world, when your services go down, your company's losing money. Think if you're an online bank. People have to be able to get access to their money, transfer between accounts, stock exchange. This is the type of things that can't go down in our modern infrastructure. So keeping your services up, keeping your profit going, that should be your number one priority, or else you guys aren't going to be there.
All right, so the next one on there is watch your network. What I mean by that is you need to watch your network traffic. Stuff's going on, keep an eye on it. You never know what you're going to see, and you might actually get some better data and know. And you might think everything's honky-dory and you're all peaceful and it's quiet. You might not be, and you don't know it. So logs in that. And then, of course, find what we've done to get in and fix that. Don't just keep trying to boot us out. Don't play the whack-a-mole game, as Jerry loves to talk about, because you're just going to jump up and we're just going to hit you right back down every time. And then, of course, you do need to enjoy yourselves. I know that I saw at times, people, you do that, or, just make us all happy and just have a little crying action, right? Because that makes us, we get our present if you cry, so.
Right, yeah, you get scotch
Yes.
if they cry,
yes.
right?
So we had a little tribute this year since Mubix couldn't be here. We went ahead and decided that he needed some money.
A lot of money.
A lot of money. So we went across the board on the teams when we had a chance to, when we were doing it, and we went ahead and gave him a lot of money, almost $1 billion. So he was a very rich man at the end of the competition. Jerry, I'm gonna let you take this one.
So let me tell you about Windows. Does anybody know what $C$ and admin dollar are on Windows? All right, so I'm not going to attribute it to anybody, but when you delete $C$ and admin dollar, your Windows domain is not going to work. You're going to have some problems. All right, this was a fun script that we found on one of the machines where constantly in a loop, it was deleting $C$, it was deleting admin dollar, but then it was deleting this account called bot score. All right? Does anybody know what the bot score account was? It was the score bot. So guess what? They denial of service themselves.
No points for you.
All right? Now in the real world, let's say stuff's happening in a network. You don't know what all the accounts are that are out there. There might be 100,000 accounts inside of your Active Directory domain. All right? You're not going to be able to go out there and start deleting accounts. And if you start, deleting the core functionality of Windows, you're going to have some problems in your network. Active Directory will go down. Exchange relies heavily on Active Directory. All right? How many of you guys got AD up and working? All right, a fair amount. Some of the problems that we caused with your Exchange, another show of hands. How many people got Exchange working? So I will tell you this right now, Exchange is a beast, okay? An absolute beast. But it relies heavily on Active Directory. If you guys hadn't figured it out, we were messing with your Windows network. Your Exchange installations, we were going around killing the setup.exe process on you. We would also remove some very tactical files from your installation paths so that you didn't actually have everything that you needed to install Exchange. How many people experienced that? Awesome. And it made it a little bit harder this year because there was no internet access, so it wasn't very easy to go out and get them again. All right. But you really can't do some of these types of things in big production networks because you're just going to hurt the network, you're going to hurt the company, and then you know what? In the end, you guys won't have a job because you won't have anything to protect.
So, continuing on some things, change those passwords, please. Yes, change those passwords. And the reason I asked you to change those passwords is because we really like to watch you change those passwords. As you can see, we get to see it. Oh yeah, this is a call out for Bloomsburg. We were watching. So we definitely can see you changing those passwords, and it was quite fun for us.
And I'll say this. Passwords are a problem every year, and we see the same thing happen. Every year, the majority of the teams have systems where they do not change the default passwords. Guys, you gotta do this. These usernames and passwords have been the same for the past 8 years.
11.
11? All right, even better. Okay?
Chia Pet is your friend.
This afternoon, I was still logging into people's Cyclo servers with admin Chia Pet. Okay? You guys got to get those passwords changed.
Absolutely. So we decided to have a little fun. For those of you who didn't make it to Hacker Trivia last night, there was quite a bit of theme around the movie Hackers. So we decided to talk to you a little bit, but we weren't getting a lot of responses back. As I said, what we really wanted from you was you to talk back. So we decided to throw it all in there to you. Obviously, some of you experienced this love. So we thought it would be a lot of fun to go ahead and create, we compiled a C program that would spit this lovely image up, and then we created some aliases for you, so when you ran certain commands on your Linux box, this came up. This would have gotten deployed across the board, but it was kind of a last-minute gag, so we were trying to do it for the camera to give good TV, so we didn't get it to everybody. We had more time and a little more thought around it, I would have mass deployed this on all of you and watched you all struggle to find it. This is another example of why you need to change your default passwords. This was about I want to say the end of day 1. PHP MyAdmin was there, and it was backdoored for certain accounts, or was backdoored for certain teams, and we definitely used that to get back in and get more access to your systems. So to be aware of that, you gotta change those passwords. You also need to keep good track of your systems. When we can log in on any account because it has a username, but it doesn't have a password in these cases, but it does have a shell. We also sometimes backdoor other things, so we don't need passwords. So we just press login, and it goes in as long as we have a shell to connect to. So if you saw this was kind of common for us on the Linux side. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of good Windows screenshots. Most of the Windows, Jerry's one of the only guys that gave me good Windows screenshots. We also like to create a lot of users sometimes because we just think you need a lot of love. So we went ahead and decided, let's create 10,000 users. So we went ahead with that one too. And as I said, we really do keep track of your passwords, and sometimes they do amuse us a little bit. I'm not sure who came up with this password scheme, but it's great. I like it. Keep with it. And of course, this is around injects. We really like it when you run those injects with those EXEs because we get a lot of shells from those. We also really like it when you reboot because half of our beacons come back. So it's always great when you go that route for us because it makes us kind of happy. I don't know why someone thought that malware bytes was going to catch us.
This was one of my favorite, by the way. By the way, that threat that it identified was actually us. So I will give you guys credit for that.
But it was only one of a bunch. You probably can't see this too well, but you really do need to watch those firewalls, because when we get creative, we decide, we're just going to add a rule to the top to block the scorebot engine. And when we do that, you don't get any points. So when we're still able to get into your firewall, you probably should be looking at your logs to see when people are logging into it. I would probably monitor that, offload it, things like that. And I think I have one more slide. I just want to say thank you, Radford. This was apparently their wallpaper on their domain controller. And this picture was taken last night while I was in the having a good time, talking, and I would not talk to them, and they were like, he's got to be the one going after. He's got to be the one going after us. Yes, I was. Yes. And so they apparently made a clever little wallpaper and added it up for us. So,
So, John, it's not like you've ever heard this joke before, right?
Yes, never.
First
we
one.
we could go on for hours about the jokes I hear with my last name. Thanks. But luckily, I have a great sense of humor, so I didn't take it personally. Unfortunately, he left. I wanted to make a huge thanks to Chris Stoneburner. Not only was he doing heavily for the white, but he was helping me out heavily with the red, getting some last minute setup. And I wish he was still here, but make sure you guys that work with Chris, make sure you give him a pat on the back and buy him a beer or two, because he deserves it. I'm going to go ahead and leave it open. We have a little bit of time, I'm sure. And Larry will cut me off when we don't. But I was going to we have talked to some of you guys, but we're going to see if you guys wanted to field some questions at us, and we'll answer them, and then I'll wrap up.
Let's limit it to like 3 questions, and let's make it quick.
I think we have to go. So
okay. Looks like you have to go.
We're just going to let maybe a handful of questions, and then me and Jerry have to roll out of here.
All right.
That's okay.
Go for it.
And I'll just say this really quick, and I tell this to all the teams at all the competitions that I do, because I do numerous regionals for this. Competing in this competition is like getting kicked in the chest. You guys falling down, and then standing back up, and then we kick you in the chest again. Who felt that this weekend? All right. Just you guys sticking around and doing this, that's more to you. We've seen teams leave in the past. And some teams, think we're here just to cause you guys pain. We're here to really help you guys learn. Me personally, I actually used to compete in this competition many moons ago. And if it wasn't for this competition, I wouldn't be where I am today. So take what you guys learned today and through this entire weekend, practice it in the off season, come back next year, and just do even better. So, got some questions?
I have a quick question. It doesn't count. How many red teamers are still here in the room?
Just us.
Damn it. I missed my opportunity because in Guardians we're hiring. And
Oh, I didn't see him over there. Hey, Ben.
Oh, all right. So one more. So in Guardians we're totally hiring. So drop me a note, because if you guys want to come and join the dark side of consulting.
I can definitely send out a mail to all the people who participated.
Beautiful.
This isn't a question. I just wanted to thank you guys for building and configuring your own request tracker database on our servers, because we were getting scored for that service being up even though it wasn't us.
So at times, we will actually fix your systems so that we can do stuff to your systems, okay? It has happened.
Maybe about 4 or 5 times this year.
Got another one down front, Lewis? Right here? Another question down front? Yes? No?
They're all telling me no because they don't want to ask. Just ask.
Yes, ask it. Family-friendly environment.
So, we're sorry that you didn't get to have fun with us and that you were told to back off because we killed our own network. Because we didn't know that you didn't actually do anything.
Oops.
All right, questions. We got to keep it flowing, keep it fast so that they can keep this on time.
Anything else? All right, one last one. Thanks, Lewis.
So what did you guys do with the badges other than make them flash really pretty colors?
Oh, the badges? Definitely let Jerry take that one.
So with the badges, how many of you guys actually figured out how the badges worked? Okay. So you guys
Very
realized
cool.
that they were listening on a UDP port? Okay. And also, if I remember correctly, your badges would also send data to a server, correct? And there was an identification on which team each badge was part of. So there was a couple things we did. First off, we made America great again. Okay. And made your badges flash red, white, and blue because America. But we also changed.
You co-opted an 8-year-old to make that happen.
Yes.
Thank you much.
It was all because of this one right here. But we also changed the team that all the badges were associated with. And from what I understand about how it all worked, that was basically giving us money. So your badges were actually generating money for each of your teams. And what we did was make all the badges generate money for us. Okay? And all we did, that UDP port that it was listening on, basically what that would do is we'd send a UDP packet at it. The first byte was what we were changing, the setting, and then the rest of it was just the data. So purely unauthenticated, we just did a broadcast on UDP and changed all the badges all at once.
Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. Did you guys have fun?
Of course, we always have
Absolutely.
We always have fun.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Lewis, do you have a few closing remarks before we start running down the teams and see who won?
One last funny thing with the red team. So just a point for you guys to pay attention to. When there's a huge crowd of 100 people that have gathered in the mezzanine level to watch you, it's probably not normal, and something's about to happen. Did anybody notice the number of people that are up there when Corinne was walking through the blue team area? I saw one hand, a couple of hands. Yeah, something's going on. So, and the other thing that was funny about it is she would walk through the blue team area. I got in a position where I could see the whole pit. And she got down to the far end where the kitchen was. And as she walked down the center to the other end, it was like a flag waving. Everybody was turning red, white, and blue. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but the entire pit area would start flashing red, white, and blue. It was awesome.
She was also being followed by a camera person.
Yeah, that too.
Dead giveaway.
That too. Okay, so I can't end this without thanking a lot of people, and it is impossible for me to know everybody's name because I literally don't know everybody that contributed to this event. It's that big with the number of people that we have. First and foremost, I want to thank you. It's you who we do this for, the teams, and it's you who we want to make America great, keep America great. And it's you who we want to go out and we want to be proud of you to keep us safe and secure. So it doesn't matter if you go to work for government, industry, anywhere you go to work is going to be helpful. So thank you very much, and thank you for taking part in this competition. The other folks I want to thank are your faculty advisors. The people who are passionate about this and the ones that are passionate enough to get you to commit to doing this. So without them, we couldn't do this. And so team representatives, thank you for being here. Thank you for being with your teams and giving up a couple of days of your private time to support them as they compete. I'd also like to thank those of us who are viewing online. We've averaged at any given time roughly 50, 60 people at a time. I'm going to be interested in seeing what the Google Analytics show us as far as unique viewers over the last 12 hours. But that's a significant number for an event like this, and that's kind of cool to see. Last time I looked, I think we had about 50 people actually watching this award ceremony right now. So that's a good number. And anybody that is viewing online, if you're interested in this competition, want to know more about it, if you look on our YouTube page, you can see some contact information, and please get in touch with us. So we'll be glad to talk to you more about it. Our sponsors. Obviously, it is impossible to do this without money and other needed items. The Department of Homeland Security, National Security Agency, News Star, Raytheon, Hershey's, the 780th Military Brigade, Cyber, University of Washington, FireEye, and SPAWAR. Our supporters, National CyberWatch Center, the producer of this event, Cobalt Strike, the National Science Foundation, Prince George's Community College, of course the Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Lab, Maryland Defense Force, Unallocated, and Bogdan Computers. Thank you very much to all of them. So I'm very grateful for a lot of individuals and the teams of individuals behind them. First and foremost, Tim Rosenberg, Charlie Frick, our technical directors. Countless hours, heartache, arguments, throwing things, laughing, fun times, the whole gamut of the emotions go through this event. And when it's all said and done, we can say, good job. And you two guys with your technical teams, I know DJ and Nick and Chris Stoneburner, John Beers stepping up, and and countless others on the backside helping us with this. Colin with the badges. Thank you so much for your dedication getting that done. Mike Daugherty, who had to leave. Mike Daugherty and the entire black team. The East Carolina University team that comes in to help us when they don't make it to the finals. They're always here. Yesterday we had the County College of Morris team came down from New Jersey to volunteer with the black team. So that's dedication right there. Amy, speaking of East Carolina University, Amy Frank, our head registrar, who does all the registration. Amy, thank you for being here. I know you're in here somewhere. I lost you. There you are. So thank you for that. Dwight, in the 11 years he's been doing this competition, he has never stayed for an award ceremony. Dwight Hobbs is our chief scorer. He runs the scoring engine. And he spends a lot of time on the backside preparing this event. This year, somebody mentioned earlier that we're using a new scoring engine. We're in fact using the same scoring engine that the National CCDC uses. So that was all new for us this year after using the previous scoring engine for 10 years. Now all of a sudden we throw this curveball in. So he was dedicated enough to learn it, figure it out, be able to modify the code on the back end for our needs. And honestly, the tech team and and Dwight were getting bored because everything was running fine. That's a first. We talk about you guys in the pit area crying and perhaps vomiting and passing out. You've never seen that happen in the operations room, but it has. And so this year it was kind of, we had the one goof yesterday morning with the snapshots being taken during the round, but that was it. Everything else ran flawlessly. So that's something good to be said for everybody. John Christmas, Rob Fuller, the entire red team, everybody involved with that. Neil, Dave, John O'Brien, and the entire APL video team, and those that have waving up there. Yep, all of those guys who have been around. We're now in our about our 13th hour of live TV, and they've broadcast every bit of it. They are professionals with a capital P. The product they put out is second to none, in my opinion. And you've actually probably seen some of their work outside of what we do here. So we're lucky to have them. Let's see. Jim and Annie and Caleb, you don't know those names, but that's our graphic artist in the visual graphics department here at APL. They produce everything graphic, anything you've seen, from t-shirts to coins to signs to the program. they do all that, and I'm extremely grateful for what they do. Christine and Joe and Pete, the facility staff, they are priceless to us. And just to mention the security staff, they stick around. Normally on a Saturday night, this building's locked by now, but they stick around on Thursday night when we're here until, late hours. They're willing to stick around while the building's open. So we're grateful for that. Jennifer Griffith and the entire Raytheon team for the event that they put on last night for you guys. Did you like that? So I think that's a do again thing. So Jennifer, go ahead and put it on the calendar for us. And so good stuff. Larry Pesce, Lizzie and Nick, who are not here, and the on-air crew, the talent involved with that, thank you very much. Like Tim said earlier, he said last year he probably wouldn't be back. Larry said the same thing. He's retiring, wouldn't be back, but it is Hotel California, so it's good to have you back always. Costas Torriegas, anybody know Costas? The CEO, maybe? So I work with him on a regular basis. He's also works with National CyberWatch like myself. And, what you saw today, I have actually seen in real life. And, yeah. so he can be very serious about things. But Costas, in that role that he plays here, has considerable experience actually playing that role for a living. And so it's good to have that resource. Gary Stoneburner, Doug Rivers with White Team, can't do it without you guys. Awesome job. Thank you. Brian Baskins and the entire incident response team. You heard him mention the number of years that experience that's on that team. So those are incident response professionals. We just don't go find somebody off the street. They do that for a living. So I know I've probably forgotten somebody, and I'm extremely sorry if I have, but just know that anybody who has volunteered for this event and worked behind the scenes with us, thank you very much. I'm very, very grateful, and here's a big hand for you. Okay, I'm what's standing between you and the awards. But before I get off the podium and turn it back over to Larry, next year, March 31st through April 1st, 2017, we will have a competition right here called the Mid-Atlantic CCDC, the regional finals. And the scenario will be based around the Internet of Things. What those things are, stay tuned. Okay, so I'm going to turn it back over to Larry, and we're going to get on with the awards.
All right. So we're going to count down the teams in reverse order, right? Last place to first, because that only makes sense because we want to make this dramatic, right? But to make it even more dramatic, I'm going to have an 8.5-year-old come and read Lewis's handwriting. Right? She's a really good reader. So in 8th place, who's in 8th place? And you put the microphone really close to your mouth. Okay? Go ahead.
Capital Technology University.
Very nice. And Lewis, yeah, come on down. It is a photograph opportunity. Come on down with the entire teams. We've got stuff for you. And my understanding, a picture. Right, so let's stand off to the side a little bit. All right, and it's very cliche, and I'm going to say this. Even though you're in 8th place, you guys are still winners because you're here.
Can I say something?
You're going to read the team names, okay? That's what I want you to do. Yeah, you're good. We're good. We're just going to read the names, okay? That's a really good job. Excellent work. All right. In 7th place. Yeah, you got it.
Radford University.
Come on down. Okay. Yep, I'll say that part. Smile. Excellent work. Excellent work. All right, so now in alphabetical order, because we have a dead tie for 6th place. In alphabetical order, first group in 6th place is?
Bloomsburg University.
Come on down. No, I'll tell you. It is a secret. You even have to be. Pretend you like each other.
Can I say smile?
No, please. All right, and in alphabetical order, the second team tied for 6th place is?
West Virginia University.
Put the mic down here. I will.
Say cheese.
All right, so we have no 5th place because we had 2 tied for 6th. So in 4th place is, you got it?
University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
Come on down. Yep, no stay. You can sit down. I'm going to turn that off. Oh, I'm going to sit down too. Right back. All right, and in 3rd place, no, wait, a word from our sponsor. No, seriously, a word from our sponsor. Cody McMahon from Raytheon, if you can come down and give us a few words. You thought I was kidding, come on.
All right, guys, I'll be quick. Yeah, so I'm Cody McMahon. I'm with Raytheon, as he said. And congratulations to all the teams for making it through this weekend. I heard no one cried, so that's really impressive. So this competition is really great, so we'd like to thank Louis Leitner, the CyberWatch group, and APL for organizing and hosting this competition. Really, we'd also like to thank the teams for coming out. Honestly, it's your dedication to learning cybersecurity and all that goes into making services and businesses work. It's incredible, like the drive that you guys have. Big thing is that cybersecurity is a huge field, and there's a lot to know. Even when you look at just the scope of the CCDC competition and the services that you guys are hosting this weekend, It's too much for just one person to learn every single way that you could secure these things. So I think one of the big takeaways for all of the teams, regardless of how you did this year, is to learn not only everything you can about the services, but learn how to work together to help secure these platforms, okay? And we'd also like to talk just briefly about what's gonna happen at Nationals and afterwards. So Nationals this year, Raytheon's gonna be providing some of its own technology for you guys to play with. So whichever team wins this weekend is gonna get to see a little bit of that. And then from the national level, for the past 2 years, the winners have been able to do something a little bit special that Raytheon's put on. So we've had teams go to Washington, DC. I was on the 2014 national winning team when I got to go and speak in the executive office. And it's a great opportunity to see everything that's going on there, but you also get some more exposure into the other technologies that Raytheon has to offer in the cybersecurity field. We do a tour of the offices that we have up there, as well as some of the Department of Homeland Security cyber defense offices. And it's a really great opportunity. So make sure you guys keep competing every year and working hard to do your best. So now we're going to announce the top 3 teams. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Okay, good. You got the mic on? Yeah. Good. All right. In third place, go ahead.
Towson University.
Towson University. All right. Yep, you did good.
Did they get the blue trophy?
Yeah, nope. Okay, there's 2 left, right? Sunday. You're gonna pay for the whole seat, but you're only gonna need the edge, right? Right? How many of you guys are on the edge of your seat figuring out to know who first place is?
Very funny.
Right?
Very, very funny.
So we're gonna take another word from a sponsor. No, I'm kidding. This time I really am kidding. Because we're going to announce number 2. But I gotta say, number 1, don't say a word. Okay? Don't say a word. You called it at noon yesterday. I'm taking her to Vegas. Okay? So, maybe. Okay? But you gotta pick all the winners. Okay? So number 2 is
University of Maryland.
come on down.
No, Vegas. We'll see.
I really want to go.
It's a joke. There it is. Yeah. You guessed it.
No. You want to say that? So we all have a pretty good idea who's left, right? And I swear she called it noon yesterday.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. But first, she has a joke that she wants to tell you all. Ready?
Hey, Daddy.
Oh, yeah.
What's invisible and smells like carrots?
I don't know what.
Rabbit farts.
You heard it here, folks, from the mouth of an 8-year-old.
Hilarious, isn't it?
All right. All right, so who's in first place?
In first place, we have Liberty University.
Nice work.
What is that? What the heck is that? What is it? Oh, it's the people controlling, isn't it?
Now, how many beers are you guys going to drink out of that cup?
Probably a lot.
It probably hasn't been washed.
Yes. I called it. You did. I called it yesterday.
Thank you.
So what do we say closing out?
So excellent work to everyone that participated. I mean, you guys wouldn't be totally awesome if you didn't make it through pre-quals and made it here. You're all are winners. I mean, if I was in this position, I really wished when I was your age that I had these same opportunities. But instead, I make the jokes that if I had these opportunities when I was your age, my career would be different. But instead, if I knew then what I know now, I'd probably be in prison. Why? Because I know all these things about hacking stuff, and I went to school, and every one of the folks in the dorm rooms that I went to university with, we were on a hub. We were on a shared segment. I could see 10,000 of my closest college friends' traffic. All of it. In a time when nothing was encrypted. So if I knew then what I know now, I'd be in prison. And what you guys know now, you guys, all of you, your future's so bright that you gotta wear shades, right? Yeah, totally 80s.
Woo!
Thank you, everybody. Oh, thank you, everybody. Now get out.
Go!
Channeling a little bit of Tim, right?